All right. Well, I wasn't expecting to make another video so soon, but here we go. So, as soon as I finish making the video, uploading the video, I get a call from Pam. All right. And as I got a call from Pam, at the same time that she calls me, they started honking their horns. Okay. So she called. She like, "Oh, I'm just calling to check on the kids. See how they do." I said, "They're fine. What have you?" And then she's like, uh, trying to have a conversation. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then she's like, so I said, okay, all right, gotta go. And then she all of a sudden she's like, oh, Dr. Shazad called me to go in the next building. And then she goes, bye, bye, bye. And I'm like, see, this is a reason why, like I said, when it comes to her and her targeting me, this is what they do, right? And how they use her to target me in these sort of ways. And immediately as I got off the phone with her, I get a call. I get another call. It's like simultaneously. As soon as I hang up, I get another call, right? And usually when things like that happen, I know that they're at, in terms of they're using the technology at play, along with all of a sudden I start getting calls from Virginia of all places, because Virginia is where the CIA is, right? The headquarters for the CIA, right? It's in Virginia. Okay, so I started getting a lot of calls from Virginia and a lot of calls from Washington D.C. Again, this is where the U.S. government is, right? The Congress, where the White House is, where the Congress and the Senate is. So they like to play these little games where they like to tell me who is behind all of this. So there are people within our government that knows what's going on, that they have, uh, 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 I'm not sure if they provide funding for these sort of programs, but when stuff like that happen, they're letting me know. Just as yesterday, as I was riding the bus, and they always do this too, right? So they'll always, like I talk about how uh, when they target me heavily, particularly when they're using black people heavily to target me, there'll always be like some white woman with some little kid standing in the middle of the sidewalk and looking at her son. Usually, it's usually a boy. Same thing, a white man, standing in at the corner, looking at me and then looking at his son. Or there will be like these white men in suits, right? Or it's like either two or three of them in suits, right? But yesterday, and they haven't done this, they don't do this too often. But yesterday, because I was on the bus, I was being targeted on the bus. The bus got to Nostrand and Church Avenue here in Brooklyn, and there was a white guy, in army fatigue. But this is the real army fatigue, right? This is not, the stuff that you go into the store and buy. So this is and literally, I think he was like, as the bus walked by, he was walking towards the bus, and he did. I don't know if he did a hand signal. I can't remember exactly what it was. Okay, and me as a black person, when I talk about white supremacy and white supremacists, and we know that that the majority of white off white soldiers in the U.S. military are white supremacists, just as the majority of them on the police force, whether they be men or women, are white supremacists. Okay, they're white. They're soldiers of white. They're what we call race soldiers. Okay, white supremacist soldiers. And so again, they do these things because they know people are not going to believe me once you label somebody with a mental illness. They're not going to believe you, right? So this is what they do, and this is what they try to do. And whenever I spill the beans and they know I'm right, as I say, if you look at some of my videos and I'm talking about certain things, how all of a sudden you start hearing the sirens going off, right? It's because I hit a vital point that they don't want me to make, right? Because they don't want people to think. See, when I say things that make you think, yeah, hear sirens now. You hear that? Okay. So again, another point proven. So when I say things that makes you think, okay, that makes you think, they don't like that because they don't want you to think. They don't want you to think. Just like I give the analogy, not analogy, but it happened for real. Like I said, I'm walking out of the store with my daughter. A whole bunch of teenagers trying to rush into the store, won't even step aside. There was one adult, one lady, who held the door open. Right? She didn't try to come in. So, like I said, I had to stop them. I said, "Hold up, you know, move back." I said, "Move back." I told them, I said straight up, I said, you guys have brains, right? You guys are smart, right? So you guys need to use common sense. You can't walk into the store if I'm coming out of the store at the exact same time. Okay? So you let the person out so you can go in. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the mindset that not just teenagers are operating under, but even adults. Like I said, I'm standing with a cane on the bus. You know, a person get up in front of me. I'm sitting right there. She got in front, and this older black lady literally almost knocked me over just to get in the seat. And because the man behind the woman that got up, he got up. She looks at me and she tells me, "Oh, I can have the seat back there." Right? So it's no wonder why I'll say this as a parent: when you raise your kids to be respectful of others, but you also got to raise them to be to defend themselves. Okay, you also got to raise them to understand that when they come in contact with certain people, right, and they treat them a certain way, that they should treat those people back the exact same way. So that means if a person is treating them nice, they treat them nice. If a person is not treating them nice, then you don't treat that person nice. This is how we have to raise our kids. Those of us who have common sense, those of us who teach our kids common sense. Okay? Because how people are being conditioned, and a big part of it is through religion. And I said, like I said, I see a lot of older black women behave that way, and it's no wonder why, our